The Greeks had already conquered the beaches of Ilium, and the previous day's victory raised the morale of all the Achaean warriors, who believed in a quick victory against Troy. In Agamemnon's tent, the main leaders talked about an immediate assault on the walls of Troy, pondering whether this would be the most correct strategy. The moment seemed favorable, and the Trojans' courage should be shaken. Agamemnon declared that, contrary to what the oracles had predicted, Troy would fall easily, and they would return home quickly. The warlords left the tent, determined to storm the Trojan citadel that very day. In his chariot, Agamemnon guided the gigantic army toward the walls of Troy. Everyone marched with unwavering determination, but they still had no real sense of the obstacle they would encounter. The city of Troy was not defended by an ordinary wall. It was higher and sturdier than any other fortress in the world. This work of engineering could not have been made by human hands. Its builders were the gods Apollo and Poseidon. Contrary to what the Achaeans thought, the Trojan infantry stayed behind the wall, prepared to face the Greeks once again. Above the walls, hundreds of archers provided cover for the troops below. With no fear in their hearts, the Greeks advanced against their enemies, and a rain of arrows fell on their heads. The Trojans fought in a tight defensive formation, while the Greek army was made weaker and weaker by the arrows falling from the sky. The Greek generals realized that a direct assault on Troy was impossible at that moment, and ordered their troops to withdraw. The Trojan commander Hector and his men celebrated after their first victory over the Greeks, showing their opponents that they would fight to the death to defend their homes and families. Unable to attack the walls directly, the Greeks opted for besieging the city and forcing it to surrender through starvation. But this strategy was not as successful as expected. Troy was a huge city and had several allies in the region, who supplied the city with reinforcements and strategic resources. Therefore, the Greek blockade did not work efficiently. Among the Greeks, a rumor spread of a new prophecy that could change the fate of the war. Hector, son of King Priam, always led his men in the front line, but he had a younger brother named Troilus. This was a boy, but his incredible skills could lead him to a glorious destiny. The boy was an excellent archer. On the ramparts, he displayed his talent, shooting his enemies with perfect accuracy. He was also a formidable horseman, riding the fast Trojan horses without saddle or reins. The intrepid boy would ride out of Troy into the countryside, unafraid of the enemies around him. A prophecy said that if Troilus reached the age of 20, he would take the place of Hector and lead Troy to victory. Not to allow the consummation of the omen, the mighty Achilles volunteered to hunt down the young man who threatened the Greeks' effort. Troilus often took his horse to drink at Apollo's fountain, a sacred place which no Greek would dare to vilify for fear of the god's fury. But upon returning to Troy, he found a terrible surprise. In disguise, Achilles ambushed the boy as he was returning. Troilus turned around and tried to return to the spring, but Achilles, the light-footed warrior, ran after him, and had his horse not been so fast, he would have been caught up. Just as the boy was about to reach the fountain, his chest was pierced by Achilles' spear. The ruthless warrior put the young boy's body back on his horse and sent him on his way to Troy. Upon seeing the boy's dead body, the whole city wept as if the hero Hector himself had died. One of the Trojans' hopes had simply vanished.